Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
There we go. We are here at Hayes Lounge in Shelby Township for the watch party. The Detroit Lions have gone to Minnesota and beat the undefeated Vikings to take the unquestioned lead in the NFC North. We are here again for the watch party. New Holland. I'm joined by my man here, Stick.
Yeah.
And what I can say right now, Stick, your $350 are safe, my friend.
Hey, Mason Leach, where you at in the chat? I saw you running your mouth. I saw you talking. I saw people quit on the Lions in the first quarter. I saw what you said about AG. I saw you said he was washed. I saw you talk about Jared Goff. I saw you tell me we couldn't do it without a pass rush. I saw it all. I watch it all. I keep the receipts. And you know what? We put belt to ass today in your building with your stupid fans shouting your stupid skull. We took our foot, Aiden Hutchinson's broken foot, and shoved it right in your ass, Minnesota. How does it feel? We weren't even full strength. You didn't even get the full taste of it. We even gave you we spotted you 10 points. we spotted you motherfuckers 10 points. And you still couldn't get it done. You know why? Because Jared Goff was perfect once again in the first half.
He sure was.
David Montgomery beating that ass once again. Gibbs running all over you. I don't know. J-Mo didn't even have to catch a fucking ball for positive yardage in this game, and we still smacked you up. Indeed. I never want to hear about this fraudulent purple bullshit team again, ever. I never want to hear about it. I'm done. I'm done. You had your fun start. Remember last time you started 5-0? Didn't even make the fucking playoffs. And it's going to happen again, you purple bastards. It's going to happen again. And it's so fun that Jared Goff gets to do it to you. It's so fun that Dan Campbell, Ben Johnson didn't even run a trick play. He's like, we don't even need to trick these guys because they're not even worth our trick plays.
We saw them try and run one.
We're just going to beat your ass. Foot to ass, belt to ass, get your ass out of first place.
That's right. And I got to be very honest. Woo, hey there.
I talked so much shit about this game, I needed this.
You did.
I needed this. They did it for me. They did it for me. I called Goff before the game. I was like, Goff, I need you to go perfect again for the third time in the first half this season. He's like, Stick, I got you, baby. I got you. I always got you.
He did. He had your back.
Oh, Mason Leach, you a bitch.
So listen, let's take our hats off to Jared Goff.
Oh, hats off, pants off to Jared Goff. Take it all off for Jared Goff, Detroit.
He was
the one thing you can leave on is your hat.
Dude was 12 of 12 at halftime. Through 10 quarters, he was 87%. With these extra 2 quarters, he's still got to be over 85%. Over 3 straight games. Easy, I love you, but eat some fucking crow, my dog. This guy is arguably the best quarterback in the NFL. Is it the scheme and the offensive coordinator?
Who cares?
Maybe.
Who cares?
Is it the supporting staff of the offensive weapons? Maybe.
Who cares?
But how many fucking quarterbacks in your lifetime have taken advantage at such a high efficiency of what they are given?
0. That's the thing. Like, everyone's like, oh, it's the system. So you're telling me there's never been a good system in the NFL till now? Oh, well, other quarterback. No other quarterbacks have done this. I don't care how good the system. I don't care how good the coach. I don't care how good whatever. It's Jared Goff. He's perfect. He's perfect. He's perfect.
So today
Suck
he finished.
it, Minnesota, with your fraudulent, fake, cheap-ass Timo version of Jared Goff and Sam Darnold. You thought you had something with this dude. You thought Sam Darnold was going to be the guy that lifted your franchise. You woke up, you looked in the mirror, you're like, Sam Darnold's going to take us. Like, you thought that guy. The Jets didn't want him. The 49ers didn't want him.
Panthers didn't want him.
But your guy, but he was going to work. You know what they are? You know what Vikings fans are? They're the idiot girl that keeps going back to the guy that just wants to screw him. You know, they're like, oh, this time it's going to be different.
Changed.
It'll be different with
changed.
me. Sam Darnold's going to be different. Josh Dobbs was different with us.
He's like 3 years older.
Oh, my gosh. Nate Mullins is the next everything.
Okay, so Jared Goff, in his last 10 quarters of NFL football, 48 of 55, 763 passing yards, 7 total touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 155.1 passer rating. 10 quarters!
And that's 3 straight games of 140 QB rating or better. I mean, the Lions had 97 yards just on the ground in the first half, and that's with a hurt Monty. He's 87%. I mean, what else can you ask from a guy? 112, perfect through one half, 2 touchdowns. And listen, the defense stepped up today. The offense stepped up today. And like you said, this team came out looking SOL as fuck. They spotted the Vikings 10 points and literally just took themselves momentum and emotionally out of the game. But it didn't matter.
You know what my
the
favorite
Lions
part?
are so big emotionally and so big on the field in terms of how they come out and play and just knock at 2 teams. That first 5-8 minutes didn't matter to this team.
You know what my favorite part about this game was, honestly? We got to win twice.
Yep.
We won, we celebrated, then you trotted your little stupid fucking team out there again, and what happened? We sacked you, and we celebrated. Like, I felt like, what is that, Doctor Strange, when he's like, you're in the time, this is just going to keep happening, guys.
Dormammu, I'm here to bargain.
Hey, Vikings, we're here to bargain. Hey, Vikings, we're here to bargain. I don't care how many times you want to run your stupid last play. It wasn't going to matter. Your team's not good enough. Your coach isn't good. Your city's not good enough. Your faces aren't good enough. Nothing about Minnesota Vikings are good enough. Their franchise has never done shit in the history of their franchise. Any Viking, we had the purple people eaters in the 70s. Now, eat my purple people eater. That's all you're doing. Just shove it right in your mouth, Viking fans. Oh, I love this victory. Oh, there's some victories like it's like, okay, we beat Arizona. Yeah, okay. But the amount of shit, the amount of Viking fans that hate watched us this week on YouTube, first of all, thank you for our record-setting Minnesota numbers.
Thank you.
Second of all, I hope you're watching now, you bitches. I know you're in your mom's basement being like, Mom, bring me some cheese or whatever the hell they eat up in Minnesota. I love this. I love this win. I love the way they did it. I love that it was a stressful win. I love that they had to come back. I love that Montgomery made a mistake, but the team was there to pick him up. I love that even when they turned the ball back over with 5 minutes to go, the defense got a 3 and out.
Yeah,
huge. This is Dan Campbell standing in that locker room right now and is like, listen, man. Man, it's tough, man. It's tough to go on the road, man, and get a victory in the NFL, man. But we did it, man. We stayed the course, man, and that's what they did. They never waver. This team never wavers, especially for dudes wearing purple.
I'll tell you what, though, hasn't been mentioned yet. The Detroit Lions have their kicker. Jake Bates, ice in his veins. Master Bates knocks down the game-winning kick. 10 for 10 so far this season. Jake Bates. Oh, man! How big are you, Jake Bates?
We've all been talking about the kicking issues with this team for more than this year. We've been talking about, is this the guy? We've been wondering, and we've never really put him in a situation this large. And this kid came through as a rookie.
We got a $10 super chat from Crans for Breakfast. He said, great name, by the way. He says, pants off for Goff, Gibbs can have my wife, Ben Johnson for president, and from here on out, it's Daddy Dan Campbell.
Yeah, that's the parlay I'm playing, too, the rest of the season. We could go there. But back to Jake Bates. You know what shows you have faith in your kicker? Taking a knee on second down.
That was wild.
We're already here, guys. Even though it's a damn near 40-yard field goal, we've already made
Let's
it.
Not
Jake
rush
Bates.
for 2 yards.
Yeah.
Let's give up 2 yards. Twice.
Guys, it's the Vikings. We can just kneel.
Unbelievable.
We could just kneel now. Second down.
Another $10 super chat from Teb Sauce 2. Cold in Minnesota, boo them Vikings and their horn blowing, and boo their kids.
That ain't the only thing they blow, and they blame a lot on it being cold in Minnesota, but it ain't the cold. That's why you guys are so short. I'm sorry, Minnesota. You ran your mouth, and we put our foot in it. Dan Campbell came in, went to your Applebee's, threw your district manager out, and took the fucking order. I love this team. God. Now, is there any debate? Is there any debate who's the best in the division? Is there any debate now that we had it? Oh, it's the Bears. Oh, it's the Vikings. Oh, is there any debate now?
It's not the best in the division. is the best in football.
Hey.
The Detroit Lions are the best team in football. Even without their Defensive Player of the Year candidate, which we saw the struggles there trying to get to Sam Darnold. That's not going to be something that you can continue to do for the rest of the year. But they showed up when they needed to. They made plays when they needed to. Brian Branch playing like the Defensive Player of the Year, playing like the best player on that defense. Just amazing performance. The Detroit Lions are the best team in football.
And listen, I'm supposedly Mr. SOL, all right? And in the start of this game, if this game goes the wrong way, this is a hard telecast that we're having afterwards. We're
I would've left.
frustrated.
I was going to listen.
And the fact of the matter is if there's ever been a bigger, more clear, bright sign that these are, I'm going to say it, the brand new fucking Lions, is that they go out and they spot a team 10 points, and it doesn't matter. And not just any team. An undefeated team on their home turf in a game that if we lose, we basically fall back 2.5 games because we're 2 games behind them plus the tiebreaker. So the grit and the resilience of this team is so real. But to Spenny's point, listen, I've said on the program during the week that we needed to see who this team was against Minnesota before we go out and take the plunge into the trade market. I think Spenny's right. We didn't really get much pressure until the end of the game when we knew that they were passing, and that is certainly going to be something that I think that Brad is going to go and figure out. But what I saw out of this team was, a last-minute win, which at this point, when it's the fourth quarter and it's close, there's not a Lions fan in town that doesn't think we're going to win. But then you go through and you actually execute this win. Going forward, all the weight is off at this point. Any kind of miscues that we had early on in this season, we've got all the momentum that you could ever ask for and the best quarterback in the NFL.
And you know what I have to say? Come home, Max.
Oh, hey.
Come home, Max. Come win a fucking Super Bowl with the Detroit Lions, Max Crosby. You know you want it. You know you want it, buddy.
Also, Anson, inquiring minds want to know, are you wearing a hoodie Raw Dog right now?
Raw, baby. It is.
Oh, my God.
Raw Dog is something else. You gotta be an arrogant, confident fella. I'm sorry, not arrogant. Confident fella to pull that look off.
You know, I got to be – it's so funny. I'm driving on the way here. I'm like, I'm going to get shit for this hoodie. But I didn't realize it was so hot out. It was an all-football morning. I went out there with a shirt and this. I just didn't have the time, son. Stripped the shirt and went Raw Dogs.
We got a couple more Super Chats.
All right, get to those. Well, hold on one second.
Okay.
One of the people I've been talking shit to Minnesota about
Called like Minnesota.
has been this man to my left.
It was
only Anson.
Hey, they're a good team.
We got to talk. Oh, yeah, they're a fine team for sucking. They're a fine, bad team. They were anointed. I was told they were great. I was told they were all these things. Anson, now that we've Scooby-Dooed their ass and pulled the curtain out and they're like, this is the real Minnesota Vikings. They're trash. How do you feel?
Well, I stand corrected, okay? I didn't think that we were going to lose this game. I did think that sweeping Minnesota would be tough and that my issue was with that everybody wrote the Minnesota Vikings off before the start of the season. I felt they'd be a better team than the Bears. And as much as we went in there and won this game, this is still a damn close game with a damn good team. These guys are going to be there in the playoffs. But they're clearly not on the Detroit Lions level.
Thank you. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, everybody, oh, God, no, the Lions are going to have a tough time. They're unbeatable. Go ahead. Kool-Aid looking crazy right now.
All right, we got it. We got the Super Chats going crazy right now.
Let's go, Super Chats. Bring them.
Sean Downey in the Woodward Sports Chat says, Lion fan in Minnesota right now. So proud to be walking around the city right now with Honolulu Blue.
I bet you are.
And then we got DJ in the Woodward Sports Chat. Dan Campbell owns Minnesota 4-1 in the last 5 games since 2022. Stop disrespecting our secondary. Brian Branch and Josh Pascal. And then Big Perm. Shout out, you're not Big Worm, that's Big Perm. Big Perm 1970 in the Woodward Sports Chat. Max, the street lights are on. Get your ass in the house. Come home, Max Crosby.
Stick thinks that Minnesota is trash based off. Yeah, I thought Minnesota was trash based off that game, based off the second half of their last 2 games. The second half of their last 2 games is what Minnesota is.
Well,
they were playing hot, and you could get on a hot streak. They've done that's the thing. This team they've gone 5-0 and missed the playoffs, guys. It's in their culture. It's in their blood. They're losers. The entire franchise, the entire fan base, losers. It's in their blood.
They're losers, and they're going to take that fucking L. Take that. Minnesota, I have friends that are Minnesota Vikings fans. There's some good people. But all these stupid little weirdos on Twitter that have been yapping, Sam Darnold looks like Syndrome from The Incredibles. Bro's ass cheeks when it comes down to it.
Look how much coaching they had to give Sam Darnold in this game.
Every snap.
Every step. Like, hey, this is how you play football. And it's like, oh, yeah, I'm Sam Darnold. This is who Sam Darnold is. So Sam Darnold got exposed for who he was. But I don't want to focus on the Vikings. We can talk about their fans and how stupid they are. I love that because listen, the amount of hate watch we got this week, it's so great. You wonder if these dudes are checking back in. Spenny, I know you're on a roll. What's going on, man?
Another super chat. Double G21 in the Woodward Sports chat says, hey, Minnesota, thanks for keeping seats warm. The Kings of the North are back.
Kings of the North, baby, for sure.
And if you're in Minnesota and rocking with the Lions right now, make sure you take a picture and post it up on social media and tag us so we can share it.
Yeah,
we want to share this experience of what it's like walking amongst the losers in Minnesota.
How many of us were there? How much Honolulu Blue was in Minnesota? And then, of course, one of our favorites, sound off. Where are you watching us from?
Yeah.
What state? What country? Where are you at?
Yeah, we got over 2,000 Lions fans watching now, so please let us know where you're watching from.
47 Vikings.
Yeah, well, they're like sub-watching from somebody else.
You know where I'm watching from? I'm watching live from Hayes Social.
That's right.
Because this is the post-game show on Woodward Sports. The Detroit Lions are the best team in the NFC.
Yep. Brought to you by 1800 Tequila.
Shout
so
out.
Thank you, 1800. They're gonna actually have the girls here next week for
That's
the
what I
home
like
game.
to hear.
I'll be here early.
We'll have the 1800 girls in the house, and we're getting the phones ready to take to.
Should we call them the 1800
shit.
honeys?
We can call them whatever we want, Spenny, as long as we're
1800 honeys?
respectful. You know what I'm not going to call them? The Minnesota Vikings, because they a bunch of bitches. And I would not disrespect these girls like that.
We'll just call them the Woodward women
But
that day.
let's talk seriously about Jared Goff. And I know I'm a slappy. I know I'm geeked up about this game.
I don't think you can be a slappy with his performance this year so far.
That's fine.
He should be arguably the MVP frontrunner.
Yeah, at what point does even somebody like me just sit back and go, wow, he's better than even me, the slappy, thought he was?
The last 3 games, 140 rating or higher over the last 3 games.
So, Spenny, you're saying MVP race.
I am saying he should be in the top 3 of the MVP race right now. What Jared Goff has done, I just read you the stats. His past 10 quarters, he's been the best player in football. And it's extremely impressive to see what he's doing.
That's a solid run.
It's a very solid run.
10 quarters is a lot of football.
That's a lot of football. If he continues to play the way he's playing. Today, it wasn't like a classic JG masterclass where he's hitting the guy when he needs it, when he's open. He was stepping into throws, delivering bullets to people in the face of pass rushers, looking a Minnesota Vikings player in his eyes and say, "You're a bitch." Amon-Ra St. Brown touchdown. Like, Jared Goff was slinging that bitch.
Yeah, against the blitz, he was 9 for 9 with over 100 yards and a touchdown at one point.
Yes.
Brian Flores likes the blitz. Jared Goff lives off the blitz. He loves it. Like, when you got to get into those Tom Brady check-down games, Jared Goff will eat you alive. And I know as a Lions fan, that used to suck so bad when Aaron Rodgers would come to town just throwing 5-yard dink and dunks to beat us. But that's what this offense can do from time to time. If that's the way we need to beat you, that's how we're going to beat you. To me, who is your offensive player of the game? I got to go Jahmyr Gibbs if we're not going Jared Goff.
I think you could go Jared Goff every game. So Jahmyr Gibbs.
As great as Jahmyr Gibbs was, I mean, that juke on the touchdown run was amazing. Coming in when we lost Monty was amazing. But when you have the efficiency, when you are able to move the chains on 3rd down, when you're able to take care of the ball the way that Jared Goff does, I'm sorry. There's a lot of running backs that could have gone in there and kept us in the game. Jared Goff took care of this game and won this game, period.
I have
Put the baby to bed.
I have a different player than Jared Goff or Jahmyr Gibbs.
Who you got?
You look at him, this guy you can say what you want about him early in the season. I said he wasn't the number one receiver on this team anymore.
The slot merchant?
Amon-Ra St. Brown. Some call him a slot merchant. Some say he's not really that good. He does one thing if he does anything, and that is absolutely torch the Minnesota Vikings. Every time he plays these guys, he puts up numbers on the board. Shout out Pusha T. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 8 targets, 8 catches, 112 yards, and a touchdown. Wow. Welcome back, son God. Hey, EQ. I heard you finally made the roster. Heard you finally made the roster in New Orleans. That'll be good. I don't think he's mad anymore. I think he's happy with his targets now.
Can we start looking at Amon-Ra St. Brown in the same light that we look at Jared Goff as? Like, if you're going to say, oh, he's just a system guy, like, that's no longer an insult.
No.
Yeah, okay, so
he's a system in the NFL.
Yeah, he's a product of the system. Okay, no, he is the system. And this whole thing, this whole ecosphere of offense is amazing. And like we said, it's pick your poison. Not everybody ate this game like they did in Dallas because you're not going to have many games like that. Laporta, I think I remember one big catch out of him. Jameson Williams had 1 catch, I believe, for -4 yards.
Yep.
Yep. So 2 of those guys didn't even perform this game, right? But you still had Monty doing well. You still had Jahmyr Gibbs doing well. You still had Amon-Ra St. Brown doing well. And then, of course, you had Jared Goff doing well.
And the Leaf was big today.
Khalif had some big catches.
Big plays. Another super chat. They're going fast and furious. Burn in the Woodward Sports chat says,
Burn.
Justin Jefferson had 81 yards and 100-yard receivers for the Vikings. Tell me our secondary is crap again.
Sick.
After what happened last week with CeeDee Lamb and now what happened, Jefferson did get his touchdown, and that was an amazing catch. He's Justin Jefferson. He's going to make amazing catches against
in the NFL.
He's arguably the best receiver in the NFL. But, yeah, that's going to happen. I mean, that's going to happen. He's going to score.
Yeah.
So,
but when you give him only that and you're not calling Jordan Addison's name all game, you're not calling anybody's name all game. Honestly, if you don't spot this team the 10 points to even keep them in the game when they're down 21-10, this game really could have gotten out of hand. And there's a big point here. I know that we're excited here, but I want to point out a couple things I want to talk about and how we get better. This is the most aggressive team in the NFL since Dan Campbell took over as the play caller. Obviously, Ben's been doing that, but ever since then, he's been going for it on fourth, been going for it on fake field or fake punts and everything. This is a team that has an offense and a defense that are so good now that we don't need to really fake punts.
Complimentary football, man. You believe in your defense. You believe in your kicker. You believe in your offense as always.
So that
and now
starting that game off with that
I was going to say, now that it's worked out, what do we think of that fake punt?
I didn't like it.
I didn't either.
Yeah,
I didn't either. And then especially,
is it because it didn't work?
It's because it didn't, and it could have worked. If Germ would have pitched it, it would have been a first down. But
it's
all right.
It was an option that he didn't take. The other thing, though, is if you're doing that early in the game, you're that deep in your own territory. I'm sorry, but sending the guy in motion is a major indicator of what you might be doing.
But honestly, like the fact that they did it that early in the game and it was a fuck up, but they still had almost 4 entire quarters to recover from it was a blessing in disguise. Like if you're gonna screw up in the first drive.
And we got another super chat in the Woodward Sports chat. This time it's from Douglas Rivet. He says, I don't think you get to 5-1 on accident. The Vikings are sneaky good. They are sneaky good. They're just not as sneaky good as the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, he's right, though. It's a good take.
It is. Oh, the Vikings are a good team for sure. It's just not as good as the Lions.
But you don't accidentally fall into 5-1. And you don't come back from an injury to the best defensive player to go on the road and beat an undefeated team without him. It's your first game without him. Yeah. And the week before that, you lost your other guy that you just signed to play on the other side of your defensive line.
I think it was 4 years ago the Steelers started out 10-0. And I was having the same argument with somebody that worked at the network that they're not. I thought they were good. He's like, they're 10-0. That doesn't matter. They're still not a good football team. The end of that season, they showed not to be a good football team. It's the same way I feel about the Vikings sitting at 5-0. Like, yeah, they got to 5-0, but it's a long season. And if that's your goal and if that's what you're going to start celebrating, you've already lost it. It's not going to happen. And then when a team like Detroit, shorthanded, comes in and snatches your soul, the Vikings were very lucky to be in that game, period. There was a fumble on the sideline that got called back that could have been an easy touchdown for the Lions. Monty hasn't fumbled all season. Lions have only turned the ball over 4 times. They get a fumble return for a touchdown to even give them the lead. So, like, a lot of good things had to happen for this not to be a blowout for the Vikings.
Yeah.
That's what I see when I play the Vikings. The football gods have blessed them. Even this loss was a blessing because they're going to look at it, we only lost by 2 points. You got your doors blown off. It was 21-10 at the half, and you honestly needed some fluke plays to get back in and fluke plays to go against the Lions to stay where you were. So as much as 5-0, great. It's now 5-1, and you're in the rear view.
And this game was such a tipping point for the team, the fan base, all of Michigan. Like, I feel like fans at this point right now, they've been afraid a little bit to fully embrace and fully think that this is the year, this is the team. But this is the best team that we've had in Detroit in 70-plus years. Whether it's statistically or whether you're looking at the roster and looking at the actual players that are doing this.
It's the most complete team I've ever seen.
Absolutely. And if the Lions somehow lost this game today, the difference between the emotion of Detroit Lions fans from where we are right now for where we could have been if we missed that kick, I'll tell you what, it's got to be just as equal in that locker room. Because that team right now is riding one of the largest waves of momentum that you could ask for. And I'm going to tell you what, Stick, in the next 2 weeks, Spenny, you know this, they're going to get some help.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're going to get somebody. They're going to bring somebody in there to help them defensively. One thing that I want to touch on that I loved, you guys mentioned it, was the David Montgomery fumble and scoop and score.
Yep.
David Montgomery has been unarguably a top 5 player on this team so far this season. He has been literally the reason you've won a couple games.
Maybe a top 5 running back in the league.
Maybe a top 5 running back in the league. I'm not mad at that. He fumbles, they scoop and score. The team picked him up. We've seen that all year. We've seen this team pick up their guys if someone fucks up. David Montgomery fucked up. He doesn't do it often, but this team picked him up. They went down there. They scored the field goal to win the game.
And to your credit,
I love it.
And to your credit, brother, you were calling for the closer.
Yes,
give it to the closer. And then he makes this uncharacteristic turnover. And as he came back, he looked a little kind of off mentally. But at the same, you were calling for it at the end. Keep going back to him.
Oh, yeah.
Lift him back up. And
listen,
there's no faith lost in anyone on this team.
I'm just glad it wasn't a pick 6 on Jared Goff. Because easy, oh, my God, I would have never heard the end of it.
Yep.
And that's the thing, like Jared Goff, his margin's so razor thin with his haters that he could go 20 of 22, but if he would have thrown that pick 6, it would have been like, oh, see, in the big moments he can't get it done. But nonetheless, it didn't happen. I just know it could happen, and I know how that conversation's going to go with Easy. But let's talk about our defense.
Yes, please.
Can we do that?
Let's talk.
The Detroit Lions defense, I thought, played a hell of a ball game. We saw some things that they made their adjustments. Jack Campbell got brought down to pretty much an edge rusher a couple plays.
He was all over the place.
Malcolm
today.
Rodriguez played his ass off because when you slide Jack Campbell out, who's got to play that
middle.
spot?
Yep.
Malcolm Rodriguez came in, and I thought AG did a masterful job. They didn't get the sacks, but at least they were playing coverage football and getting enough pressure to not really make it too easy for the Vikings.
There was general pressure. Darnold wasn't running for his life. Yeah. In fact, the few times where plays really broke down, yes, he had an opening. And that's something that we're going to have to shore up. Go get Landry and Za'Darius. 2 of them would come cheap.
Add those 2 guys. Give me Max Crosby.
I know you want Max Crosby. I just don't think that that's in our future. But
it could be.
It could be.
He all of a sudden has an ankle injury and isn't playing.
Yep.
That would be fantastic.
He put something up on his story about coming home, and then he took it down.
He did.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's been going
Easter
up
eggs are popping.
I'll tell you what, speaking of defensive ends, speaking of that, like you said, we lost Davenport, obviously. Aiden Hutchinson, tragic. You needed guys to step up. The unsung hero for the defense today was Josh Pascal.
Yep.
That man was everywhere.
Yeah.
He was making plays. He's obviously fantastic in the run game. That's why they love him so much. He's a big body. You can move in the inside or the outside on the defensive line. He got to Sam Darnold, got a sack on the quarterback, was getting tackles for loss. Josh Pascal played the best game of his Lions career today.
And to speak to what we've seen as long as this regime has been here has been player development. Ife Melifonwu, why'd we take this guy? All of a sudden, he's a huge part of the run last year. Anzarike, where is this guy? And all of a sudden, now he's looked a huge part of the future. 2 years ago, nobody even liked Lee McNeil. Now who is he? And that's what these guys have been able to do. People have been complaining about the Pascal pick for years.
Yep.
And when we needed him, this guy showed up. And
Big
I know
time.
we've all week long, Spenny, we've been hearing next man up, right? And that's what we saw today. We did see each and every one of those guys. Even Houston, I know he didn't get home, but he was at least in there making some plays.
Yeah. Someone put in the chat, I was trying to scroll back and find who did it. They said, we had 4 sacks today. How many more do you want? I want them during the first 3 quarters. That's when I want them. When Minnesota's down and they're throwing the ball and
two on the last possession alone.
So you essentially had 2 for the game,
Yeah.
right? And those still,
and those
even
two
those
were on the possession beforehand.
Exactly. So besides the last 2 possessions of the game, you had 0 sacks, and you could see Sam Darnold was pretty comfortable back there.
very
And
free.
so, luckily, it's Sam Darnold and he's trash.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's awesome, and I see everybody in the comments talking about different guys that stepped up, and we're hearing a lot of this linebacking core. You got obviously Jack Campbell. Can we say he's arrived?
Yes.
Can we say
and it's been a couple weeks, but today especially.
He has played fantastic the past couple games for the Lions.
Malcolm?
Anzalone stud. Malcolm, you put him in there, he's going to make plays. And the guy, Michigan guy, Saginaw Valley State alum, Trevor Nowaski, went out there.
Yeah.
He got the sack at the end. He made a couple nice
It's only his
plays.
second week with us.
Calvin Shepard is one of the most underrated coaches on this staff. He has those linebackers ready to go.
Yep.
Whoever he is, you step in, you're going to make plays. Calvin Shepard is going to be a defensive coordinator in this league. You can book that.
Hey, how about
Linebacker
Patrick Mahomes throwing another pick?
Yep.
Linebacker court carried
Streak is
us
still alive.
out of that first quarter where we were really struggling. When they had that third opportunity to put a third score on, the linebacking core came through. And that, to me, has really been the weakness of this defense. But Laporta, like you said, Spenny, he has arrived. Today, you mentioned that he was getting
Campbell,
not
excuse me.
Laporta.
So
Laporta
so-
arrived last
Big white
year.
Iowa
Between-
dudes.
They
between the
white.
sa-
Yeah, big white Iowa
They
guys.
white.
Yeah.
Yeah. So honestly, this guy came in and was huge in run support. Got home in 2 sacks or just 1. But what I saw out of him
At
was
least 1, but he was in there a lot.
he was on the field so much, and he was doing so many different things. This kid, by the end of the year, he truly could be what we've seen Anzalone become, but even more.
Okay, we just got a $600 super chat. Taiwanese Lion. Shout out to them. Said, watch the game all the way in Taiwan. Game starts at 1 a.m. here. So proud of the toughness and grit from the brand new Lions. And shout out everyone at Woodward Sports. You guys are my go-to Detroit sports channel. Go Lions.
Man, that's
all
that-
the
Go
way
Taiwan.
from Taiwan.
That's that
Go Taiwan.
semiconductor money right there, my man.
$600.
That's a record, isn't it?
All right,
Wow.
next time, just send that to Stick Radio on
Yeah.
Venmo, please.
So listen, we have a
on Cash App.
$600
Cash
record
App,
set.
Stick Radio. Yeah.
If anybody wants to break that record tonight, it's set at 600.
No.
Shout out to
That's-
Taiwanese Lions.
Honestly,
amazing.
that's what's so cool about Woodward Sports. We reach the
All over the
entire
world,
world.
baby.
Like, there's local radio stations here, but no one's listening to them from Taiwan. When we ask people where they're from, we got all over the place. You got Colorado, you got Anchorage, Alaska, you got Mississippi, you got South Carolina, you got Downriver, you got East Side, you got Detroit.
UK.
Like, that's the coolest part about doing Woodward Sports digitally, and that's why we started this digital sports network, is to reach people. Because let's be honest, folks, Detroit, when I started in Detroit media at a radio station called 93.1 DRQ, we were
DRQ,
market number 7 media-wise, and that's because of the population. Now,
Much love, Javon Hollywood.
now we're about market number 16, number 15 media-wise, because so many people have left and flooded this area and left and gone elsewhere. But those people still are Lions fans. They're still Red Wings fans.
Yep.
They're still Pistons fans. And that's so cool to be able to connect with them from all around the country and now all around the world. We got Chicago checking in, Tennessee checking in, Houston checking in, Australia checking in,
I knew it down
Japan checking in.
Shout out again. Shout out to Taiwanese Lion. $600 super chat. Crazy. Appreciate you listening to
next
Woodward
time just
Sports.
buy me a flight to Taiwan and we'll come do a show together, buddy.
Let's do that.
I'm seeing something in the Woodward Sports chat. We brought him up already, but I guess they want me to bring him up even more.
Go ahead.
My guy, a friend of the show,
Malcolm?
friend of the network, Malcolm Rodriguez.
Speak, Spenny.
Malcolm Rodriguez.
You guys
So,
were on
to your credit, you and Spenny were all over this guy.
Yes. Big
time.
I mean, what was he, fifth round pick?
Sixth round pick.
Sixth round pick.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Months before
the
the start of the
heavyweights like
season.
him. Okay.
Yeah.
No, you guys.
But
hit
here
me.
he is.
Me and Easy locked in. We saw it. This guy was he was a Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year. He is a state champion wrestler. If he was 6'4", he would have been a first or second round pick. You bring him in here, and what does he do? You have Calvin Shepard saying in Hard Knocks, I don't want to start the rookie, but he's making me do it. He comes in here, he produces. He doesn't have the role that he has in the defense this year like he did his rookie year and stuff like that. He's moving in and out. He needed to play this game. Like you said, Jack Campbell bumped up to Sam, using him a lot around the line of scrimmage. Malcolm in there, sideline to sideline speed. He gets his hands on people, and they go on the ground. Malcolm Rodriguez, he's got a baby on the way. Shout out to him and his lovely wife.
Shout out.
Game of your life, kid. Love you, Malcolm. Way to go out there and ball for your dogs.
Hey, so while we're speaking about the defense, this is the league-leading 10th straight game with a takeaway for the Detroit Lions.
Wow.
Longest streak in the NFL.
I mean, just can't. There's just so much good to talk about. It's still bewildering to me that this is the life of a Lions fan now. Like, for our entire existence, it's been kind of, hey, you're a Lions fan. Pat you on the head. But now it's like when people talk to us and you go around the world, or I was just in St. Thomas, people are like, oh, Detroit, Lions fan? It's like, you care about the Lions? People really care about this team, and I think it's because not only the way they've been built, but the type of men that they have. And when you see a guy like Jared Goff being the best quarterback in the league, a guy that was thrown away by his other team, and everybody thought he was just, it's some first-round pick saying this guy named Jared Goff. I mean, come on. How different would that trade look now?
Oh, yeah.
It would. Everybody's like, it's a fair trade. They got a Super Bowl. We got.
We would have had to give up picks.
Yeah.
He's
Well, you
younger.
would have spent one of those picks on a quarterback, right?
No doubt.
And you would hope that they would turn out to be Jared Goff. So the fact that he's our quarterback just makes me so damn happy. And the fact that they went to Minnesota and Mason Leach hasn't left one comment in the chat because he's running like a bitch.
Ooh.
It just makes me so happy that
Mason, you still got a chance.
Oh, you should.
But it's at Ford Field.
When it was 10-0, Mason Leach was, Stick, you
Running
better
it,
get
huh?
my money ready. Stick, where's my money? And it's a long game, fellas. 4 quarters, and the Lions did all of that tonight. Kool-Aid's working on getting the phones ready, so we're going to take some phone calls here in a little bit. It's the Lions post-game show. We are live at Hayes Social in Shelby Township, surrounded by 17-foot projector TVs and like 30 others. We got Soroki's in the building, Sabbath Coffee, of course, 1800 Tequila, our official sponsor. And then we have, of course, New Holland, which, Spenny, how many New Hollands did you chug today? Was it every touchdown you chugged one?
No, I just chugged 2, but I drank at least 4.
Oh, the last one I gave you was a 22, not a 16. So
I chugged that one.
Quickly.
Sticks. If it wasn't for that fumble recovery by David Montgomery, that would have cost them the game.
Doesn't matter.
The hell
Don't care,
outta here.
nerd. They won.
Yeah, and, people.
But if
I've
doesn't
seen that.
but if Monty doesn't give up the fumble that they return for a touchdown, this isn't even a game.
Right.
We would have marched down the field and scored a touchdown.
And that's the crazy part too, is like people are like calling the Vikings not good is insane. No, it's not.
He didn't call them not
I
good.
did.
team.
They're not good.
They're a good
They're
team.
fraudulent. They're fraudulent. They're fraud.
maybe
They have
a-
a good
maybe a
defense
fraudulent
and a good
5-0.
wide receiver. Outside of that, they have nothing. A good defense, good wide receiver. What else do they have?
Well, you
they
know
got
what?
Sam freaking Darnold at quarterback, who's been thrown away by 3 franchises, who threw a pick in a big moment today, who couldn't get his team going. So I don't want to hear anymore about how anointed these guys are. They should have lost 2 other games this year, and then they'd be sitting at, 3-3 right now, and everybody would know what I know.
I mean, even at the end of the first half, these guys could have put 3 more points on the board, but they had no fucking timeouts because they couldn't get their shit together and blew 2 of them in the first quarter, and then they challenged another play that was, I guess, challengeable. But there's a lot of things to knock against the Vikings. Everything fell in place for them to end up 5-0. Realistically, the Lions had to plan to be bad to lose 1 game. And that's what they did in week 2. They literally planned themselves into a loss. And since week 2, we talked about it in that broadcast after the fact that could be one of those good losses. And since then, we've seen them scale back to passing, assault every team they've played on the ground with this 1-2 punch with Monty and Gibbs. And the fact of the matter is this defense, nobody in the NFL is ready for. They're worried about our offense. We all better fucking wake up and start getting afraid of this defense too.
Yeah, I can hear you, Kool-Aid. I totally agree with that. And the fact that the Lions came out, if the Lions were to lose a game, this would be the understandable loss. You lost your emotional leader on defense. That shortens your week. I don't care what it is, because part of your time is addressing what you lost. You have to totally re-scheme everything you're doing on defense.
Chaos, bro.
And that also applies to the offense. Now maybe you're leaning on your offense for a little more ball control, so you're taking some of those explosive shots out of the game. Like, everything was set up for these guys to lose this game.
Yep. And
you're going into 5-0. You're going to their house. They're favored. They have Sam Darnold, who's playing out. Everything was supposed to go against the Lions. Vegas had them losing this game.
Yeah, 3 points.
The fuck Vegas know. They don't know. They don't know about this Detroit team.
They don't know.
The Lions were thrown into chaos, like you said, when you're not only trying to figure out what's going on and taking this guy to get his surgery, and everybody's got that emotional, just fallout from losing your best defensive player. We talked about it on Wednesday. I did feel that this was a rally game, that this was a game that the Lions as a team would come together and rise up through that loss on the road to beat the division leaders. Not only did we see exactly that, but now these guys know who they are without Hutchinson, and they've got 2 weeks to address that to get even better.
Oh, now you got time to go get another guy, too, add to the system. I love this super chat by Ryan TV. The Vikings are like the 2011 Lions. You guys remember that team? They leaned on a wide receiver, had some luck, and started 5-0.
Yeah, we know
How did they finish that season? 5-6.
You kept saying the 5-0 Vikings. I was like, are you sure you're not talking about the 5-0
No, I
Lions?
remember that year too, but that's why I think this is a great
one.
So the 2011 Lions were elite guys? They were a really good team? Is that what everybody who's arguing with me in the chat is saying? Because at this point in the season, we'd be having that conversation. You realize that.
Truth.
So it does happen in the NFL where luck can be on your side at first. I can remember back in the day, the Kansas City Chiefs, I believe, were chasing 16-0. They were 10-0, 11-0 at one point, and then they completely fell apart. It's a long season. It's a season of attrition. The injury bug hasn't even hit the Vikings yet.
Truth.
They haven't even gone through anything yet. They've had everything work out for them, and today it didn't work out from you because you were out-talented, you were out-schemed, you were outplayed, you were out-toughed, you were out everything in your house. The only thing you did better was blow your stupid horn.
This is a game.
That's what every Minnesota fan with that horn goes.
How does it go?
Skull. We scream chewing tobacco.
Can you? But listen, we can denigrate Minnesota and their team and everything as much as we want.
I'm not denigrating them. I'm
No,
telling
but
them
what I'm
what they
saying
are.
though is this:
I'm sculling.
is there a Lions
Morons.
team in your existence that would have won this game? Because to me, this Lions team this year, it just didn't matter in this game. Your best defensive player is out. You spotted these guys 10 points. Your closer just fumbled the rock for a 6-point takeaway.
Your rookie kicker has to kick the game-winning field. Like it was written in the stars that the Lions were going to lose this game.
But at the same point, none of us, as we're all sitting here, none of us really were like, oh, my God, we're going to lose. Like, we messed this game up. We never lost faith in the cardiac catch because these guys continue to prove that when it comes down to it, at the end of a game, as long as it's open to be won or lost, they're going to fucking win it.
Yeah.
Period.
Well, I mean, I looked around the room when we got the ball back with 6 minutes to go. I was like, it's this offense.
I know, right?
6 minutes to go, and they just got to get in field goal range. Like, We're not even talking about the
Methodical
10-yard
drive,
end
too.
zone. Like, they need to get within 40 yards of the end zone. That's all 40 yards of
And they
the end zone.
methodically did it.
Douglas Rivet in the Woodward Sports Chat says that was an extremely close game. Talking otherwise is insane.
Go rewatch the game because you know I'm gonna this week. That's part of my ritual. I'll rewatch the game 3 or 4 times.
I feel you, Doug. It's a close game. It's
The
2
Lions,
points.
the Lions, yeah, okay.
Dude, by the way,
the
I
Lions,
said 29-27
The Lions
on
outscored them
Wednesday.
21-0 at one point, right? Going into the half, the Lions, they were down 10, and it was 21-10 at the half. Vikings come out, they score a touchdown. Lions come out, put foot to ass again, score another touchdown. And by fluke, the Vikings fumble, we return it for a touchdown. That would have ended the game completely. That game was about to be a blowout. But his foot was out of bounds. His heel touched the white. Whatever. It didn't happen. They get the ball back. And then we do a turnover, and they score a touchdown off that. Fluke play, not likely ever to happen again in Monty's career against the Vikings. Like, likely, right? What's the percentages?
Very low.
Very, very low.
Very low.
So they needed a lot of things to go their way to even have a chance. And at the end, the Lions weren't even trying to score. They could have made this a 6-point game. But no, they made it a 2-point game because it was over. Yep. All that they knew.
Well, I mean, you got
Our rookie kicker
time.
has so much confidence from the head coach that on second down, he sent Jared Goff out there.
And third down.
Second down, he sent Jared Goff out there and just said, you know what,
Kneel it.
lose a couple yards and
Kneel
take
it.
a knee. Don't matter. 3-yard loss, take a knee.
Now, let's be real. Kool-Aid and I were looking at each other. We're like, he's not even going to run it. He's going to give up 2 instead of take 2. And not only do that, but do it twice. You got some big balls, my man, Dan. And I'm going to tell you what, Chris Christie, I hope you watch this fucking game,
Yeah,
bitch.
eat
with your
shit,
fat
Chris
ass.
Christie.
Oh, you said I thought Chris Christie would mean big breasts.
Yeah,
right?
big breasts.
Big
Well,
breasts.
he said, I don't know if you saw his quote this week
I
about Dan
did.
Campbell. Why are you even speaking, bro? You ain't ever been relevant ever.
No, you're rolling. Shut your mouth.
You're relevant at Golden Corral, and that's about it.
How are you going to hate from outside the club? You can't even get in. Like,
That's right,
That's how I
baby.
feel about Chris Christie. Listen, what the Lions did last week to the Cowboys made a lot of people feel a lot of ways. I mean, Jerry Jones.
America's team shitting on America's old team.
Yeah, Jerry Jones freaking out on people. His local radio station he called in is like, I don't need some guy with a microphone telling me how I messed up. That's like, okay.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yep, okay there, boy. Yeah, my southern boy, you messed up. I hate to tell you, Jerry.
Are you saying he's becoming unhinged?
And I'm just saying he's an idiot. You know what? If you're willing to take the praise, you got to take the heat, right? You can't. If they won that game, you think you'd be on there. You stupid boys with a microphone tell me how good I did. I don't need that from you.
True.
No, and that's what I hate about people.
Yeah.
Like, be consistent.
Be consistent.
That's all I ask out of anybody in life. Be consistent, and
King
that's
of
what.
consistency right here, gentlemen.
Thank you,
And
that's
ladies. that
That's
might
all
be
I
watching.
expect out of myself too is consistent. You come to me, you know what you're gonna get, right? And that's how I feel that Dan Campbell is too. Except today was a little bit different. I mean, he did run the fake punt. I didn't see the gambles today. The biggest gamble outside that fake punt, I think me, Spenny, and Easy would all agree, was that second down pass to Khalif Raymond on the second to last drive.
Down the sideline.
That was
yeah.
a shot down the sideline.
Surprising.
Jared Goff sailed
He
that
doesn't
ball.
go to him that late in the game.
Jared Goff sailed that ball a little bit outside, but Spenny, to your credit, that was the right call. The play was there.
The play was
if
there.
Goff completes that, it's
Yeah.
Ben Johnson's a genius.
Yeah, but
And
then Leaf made a huge play at the end of the game anyway.
Listen, they made up for it, but that was a very interesting play call, and that was the aggressive Dan Campbell version, right?
Yes.
When they should have been salting out the clock, or like me and Easy were saying, just play within. You're just trying to get 10 yards at a time right now because all you need to do is get in a field goal range. They didn't do it. To their credit, Jack Fox, best punter in the league, pins him down at the 6-yard line.
Yep.
You get the stop, a decent little return. Next thing you know, you're only 30 yards away from winning the damn game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kool-Aid, we ready to go on the phones? All right, 313-552-6322 is the phone number. It's 313-552-6322. That's the phone number to get through. We are live here at Hayes Social in Shelby Township. No better place to watch Lions game. I mean, when the Lions score and that sounder hits, My God, everybody in here has a good time. Forward down the field. So if you want to be amongst friends when the Lions kick ass, make sure you come here to Hey Social, brought to you by 1800 Tequila. And shout out to everybody in the chat. Make sure you're liking right now. And please, make sure you're subscribing right now because tomorrow morning, Woodward in Maine is back at it. Kool-Aid's going to be on Wake Up Woodward, giving you all the Lions coverage that you can handle. Me and Neil Rule are going to be on tomorrow from 11 to 1.
Oh, boy.
That's going to be a show.
Oh, that's Vikings hate show.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's going to be so good.
Oh, God. Me and Neil got something planned for you purple fucks. It's going to be a fun day. And then, of course, you followed up with Ermanni and Edwards. Michigan Sports Hall of Fame, Braylon Edwards.
Shout out.
And then the heavyweights on from 5 to 7.
Oh,
So
will
make
the
sure,
heavyweights be covering the Spartans at all?
Oh, yeah.
make sure
My
you
baby.
make sure you
Better
lock
believe
in to Woodward Sports and subscribe so you get a piece of all of that. Yeah, the Spartans, you guys can talk about that tomorrow. And we can talk about college football tomorrow because right now we are celebrating the Lions beating the unbeatable Vikings. Oh, my God. They're the best team in the NFC, Anson. They're the best team in the NFC North, Anson. The Lions don't stand a chance. They don't have Aiden Hutchinson anymore. The season's over.
Can I lament a little bit? I want to talk about Dan Campbell. I want to talk about Dan Campbell real quick, all right? Because there's another guy from Dearborn that everybody in Detroit wanted to hire, and Robert Saleh, who doesn't even have a fucking job right now, all right? And then we brought this guy in, and he goes in, he's talking about eating kneecaps, and he's a media joke nationally for making that comment, right? They come out, they lose a whole bunch of games early. They eventually get to 9-8. But now you look at this. This is a guy that should have won Coach of the Year last year. And what he has done to the NFL is not spoken about. But overall, going forward on fourth down, fake punts, they're up. What this guy and Ben Johnson have done to the NFL, let's talk about them extending guys. They extended 3 guys before anybody was doing it. They set the market. They paid less than what these other guys
First
got
in wins,
paid.
always.
So as much as the national media, Chris Christie, anybody wanted to diss on this hire, anybody in Detroit that thought you wanted Robert Saleh, look at us now. Look at this guy now. Look at what he's meant to not only just the turnaround of this team, but the style of play and the swagger that the Lions take onto the field and that the fans take all around the fucking country.
Listen, I was one of the guys that wanted Robert Saleh because I love the local story, right?
Sure.
The Dearborn guy comes home, leads the team. And honestly, I didn't know much about Dan Campbell when he got here. I knew he was the assistant
tight
coach,
end.
the interim coach for Miami for a couple games. I remember that, but I wasn't paying too much attention to Dan Campbell. He wasn't on my coaching radar. I didn't dive that deep. But when he got here, the best thing Dan Campbell ever did, the kneecaps thing was cute. His first press conference is like, listen, I could tell you about growth. I could tell you about wanting to get there. But you all are sick of hearing that bullshit. He literally said, you're sick of hearing that bullshit. And I was sick of hearing that bullshit, Anson.
We all were.
It was like he was talking to me specifically.
Yeah.
And because I think we all were. We're tired of the coach
He wore the
speak.
Honolulu blue. He understood.
Well, that was my problem with Stafford, too. It was nothing but coach speak with him in press conferences. And you knew, or you could feel, I can't say knew, but you could feel with Dan Campbell, the era of coach speak was over. We're going to be authentic. We're going to be ourselves. And if it works, it's going to be amazing. If it doesn't work, at least we went down trying to be ourselves, not trying to be the New England Patriots, not trying to be Steve Mariucci's 49ers,
the only thing worse
not
than
trying
losing
to be somebody
is
else.
losing as a fraud.
Yeah.
And they have come in and been themselves. They've changed the culture, and then they've fucking won doing both.
And did you hear there's no longer superlatives you use for Jared Goff. There is no great, there is no fantastic, there is no amazing, there is no beautiful, there is no wonderful. It's just
Jared
Goff.
Goff.
It's just Goff. How's your day going? My day's golfing. It is now an adjective to describe something great.
Perfect and beautiful.
Pretty golf day so far.
Dude, this day has been so golf.
Minutely under perfect. Just nearly perfect. It's been golf.
That girl's ass,
Golf is fucked
that, dude, that girl's ass is so golf.
The weather was golf today.
Oh, the weather was so golf today.
Absolutely
I
golf
couldn't
day.
ask for a more golf fall day.
No,
I could
you
not.
really can't.
Let's go to the phones. 313-552-6322. Kool-Aid can't screen you, so when he puts you on, we're going to say the first 3 numbers of your phone number, not the area code, just the first 3 numbers, and that's how we're going to identify you today.
And keep your radio down,
Yeah, please. Turn your YouTube down in the background.
7-5. 875.
875. You're putting them live, Kool-Aid?
875, you are
How's it going?
live.
Good, brother. How are you?
Hey, doing good. This is your boy Steve from Arizona. Watching from Vegas this week.
Yeah. Oh, how's Vegas, baby?
Oh, Vegas is good. I'm here for a big old wrestling tournament. My stepson's 2-0.
Oh,
Nice.
cool, man.
Congrats,
Good luck
man.
to your stepson.
Can he beat you in a wrestling match?
Yes, he has many times, actually.
Better be good to mom then.
Steve with the honesty. I love it.
So what'd you think of the game,
So,
Steve?
yeah, last week I called in. It was my weekly call-in.
Yes, sir.
But I was talking about how I trusted Brad Holmes, and this week I figured out why. It's due to his choices based on character first, talent second.
And patience, right?
And when there's adversity, there you go.
That's right. That's right. And through adversity, a lot of people overreact. And what the Lions, Brad and Dan, understand is that they've been building this team not for 1 year, but for many. And they have the culture and the guys that they feel can step up and take that over. But as much as I do like that patience, Steve, do you want them to make a move? Do you want them to make a trade?
I do.
Good man, Steve.
I want Crosby.
Good man, Steve.
Bring them tattoos.
Yeah, and Steve, thank you for all you contributed here at Woodward Sports, too. He's the one that sent us from the Arizona game.
Yeah, he's
Steve's
great,
the man,
bro.
and now he's in Vegas.
For years now.
Steve living that life, too,
Yep,
man.
yep,
Living
staying
that
warm.
life. But no, listen, I love this team. Can it get better? Of course it can. But am I going to panic if they don't go out and make a move? I said it earlier this week on Woodward Sports. I'd be okay. I want them to make a move, but if they didn't, I trust enough in Brad Holmes to know this team's identity. I trust that Dan Campbell has communicated enough of what their ceiling is with the players that they have. And if they walk away saying, hey, we like this team, we like who's in place, yeah, Myles Garrett, I'm just using this as a name. Myles Garrett on the stat sheet, he'd fit in here perfectly.
Oh.
Culture-wise, he's not our guy. If they say that, I'm okay with it. And like you said, this team has been built on unity, on these guys riding for each other. You cannot bring a lone wolf in here that's going to shit on your culture no matter how talented they are.
And at what point, through all the trades, all the draft picks, all the signings, and all the success, do these two guys earn your trust?
They've already earned it.
Well, and that's the thing is, like last year, there were so many people that were so upset that we didn't make a move at the deadline, or a major move, should I say. But we trusted this team. Well, I don't think we really did, and I think that's why people were so upset. But they still made the NFC Championship. Now this team, again, we've watched guys that we drafted a couple of years ago start to contribute. We've got guys that we drafted this year contributing at a high level, as well as guys that we traded for and signed. They have the vision. They have the understanding of talent. They have the ability to improve and build that talent while they're here. And they have the coaching staff to execute all of it once it's on the field. So I ask you, Detroit Lions fans, at what point have these guys earned your trust? Because they have mine, and I know they have his.
Now, they've had mine. Kool-Aid, who else we got on the phones? Where are we going? Spenny, what do we got?
131.
131?
131.
Is that an
The
800 number?
inverse Detroit? Are you calling from
Inverse
Bizarro
Detroit.
World, Detroit? 131, who's this?
131, are you there?
Hello, caller.
Hello?
Hey,
Hello.
what's
Yeah.
going on? Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Oh, it's 313. I'm sorry, I didn't.
I'm sorry, Kool-Aid's dyslexic.
I'm calling from South Florida.
Okay.
Hey, what's going on in South Florida? What'd you think of the game?
Oh, I called really to comment on one player, and that's Brian Branch.
Honey Brancher.
What an athlete.
Amazing.
Yeah, like, that's another great interception. Like, he helped turn the momentum in that game. It was special.
His intuition and nose for the ball, his feel for the game, I hate to do it because he's my all-time favorite. But it feels like Ed Reed.
Yeah, well, I said that earlier, and Spenny said Kirby's more the Ed Reed. He's more the Troy Polamalu. Either way, I don't give a damn. Give
I'll
me
take
either of those
one of them,
guys.
man, especially if we got both.
Yeah, but aside from that interception, what do you like about Brian Branch?
Oh, I love that he has that fire because I remember seeing him walk that stage in the second round
Pissed.
of the draft.
Because he knew he should have been in the first.
And I knew he was mad. I knew he was going to come in, and he has that fire. He can tackle. He doesn't miss a beat.
Yeah, no,
You know?
I love him. I absolutely love it. I think it was a solid pick, and obviously he's shown since day one that he can fit into this defense and add to this defense, and that's the coolest part about this. Brian Branch is only going to get better.
Yeah.
He's only going to get better. That's the crazy part.
Who's your favorite Lion? Jared Goff?
Yeah, I mean, come on. What are we doing?
I'm just asking.
What are we doing?
Because mine's Brian Branch. I'm always a secondary guy. I was a D-back myself, free safety. I love that.
You're still a D-bag. Oh, you said D-back. My bad.
Some days for sure, bro.
No, yeah, it's Jared Goff for God,
since day one,
so
really.
Many and
one.
That's part of my
ultimate believer.
That's
right
part of my affinity to him. And it wasn't that I was a believer. I just wanted people to give him a chance. Like I wasn't preaching to people, Jared Goff's going to come in here and change the franchise around. I was like, listen, guys, if I wrote on a piece of paper, here's the next quarterback you're going to get for the Lions. He's 26 years old. Or what was he, 24 when we got 26? Either way, 26 when we got him. He's 26 years old. He was the number 1 overall pick. He took his first team to a Super Bowl. And I slid that across the table to any Lions fan before we got Jared Goff without a name. You would be like, salivate.
Yeah,
yes,
please.
I want this guy. He went to a Super Bowl. Yep. He's young. He was the number 1 overall pick. Yeah, that's my guy. And that's why I just couldn't understand when everybody was telling me how washed he was, because I watched him outduel Mahomes 47-45. I watched him, take a Sean McVay's offense after he was shit on by Jeff Fisher and turn it around for him too. I saw him evolve, and I don't like just throwing people away, especially here in Detroit. Yeah. We of all cities should know this is the redemption city, especially for athletes. You look at the 04 Pistons, all of them, tread on them. All of them from different teams. Only Tayshaun, the starter, was drafted. That was the only drafted player here on that starting 5. Whenever our teams get these guys that have that edge. Oh, and even Amon-Ra St. Brown. Yes, he was drafted here, but in the 4th round, he still holds on to that shit. Goff holds on to that shit. I mean, all these guys have been told they're not good enough, and here they are in Detroit being good enough. And I just love that story. So, yeah, Jared Goff's my favorite, and I wasn't waving his flag at first. I just wanted to calm everybody down and say, can we see what the hell we have before you tell me he's bad?
Well, last night I watched this little 25-minute little documentary on Netflix about Trey Turner. And it's pretty cool. It's about how he was so bad when he signed with the Phillies, $300 million contract. And this guy in Philadelphia, this about our age, longtime Phillies fan, and he goes on after the guy was sucking all year, and he's like, everyone give him a standing O. And he comes out to the standing O. He's kind of caught off guard, and he starts getting on a hit streak, has one of the best 2-month periods ever. This is what I felt like with Jared Goff. He was met with such mixed reception, despite the fact that Stafford was the most polarizing athlete we had in Detroit for probably 20 years. And whether you loved him or hate him, I felt like everybody was ready to move on.
Yeah, the relationship was over.
But brother,
it was a bad marriage for a long time.
It was the right move.
But my thing with Jared Goff is, to this day, he's fighting Detroit fans to embrace him.
Yeah.
And that has never, ever affected him. Imagine, like he kind of does now, when he has all of the city behind him. Because you see it, Red Wings games, Tigers games, anywhere you go, you're hearing Jared Goff, Jared Goff.
It's a battle cry for the city.
Last year, this guy is finally propped up and loved by the city. And when you have that kind of love, just like you'll see in that Trey Turner documentary, when you have that kind of love and energy pushing you, the sky's the limit.
And I believe we got Freddie Felt on the line.
Hey, Freddie Felt is on the line. What's up, Freddie? What'd you think of the game, baby?
Hey, what up, though? You hear me, guys?
Yes, sir.
Beautiful. Hey, first off, to quote a Minnesotan native, Prince, let's go crazy. Let's get nuts.
Sure.
The Detroit Lions are where they belong. They're first place in the best division in football, the black and blue division.
That's right.
That was a big boy game right there. And, man, did they deliver. Bates with the game winner, Amon-Ra, Gibby, Goff doing Goff things. Speaking of big boy games, though, this is a big boy team, and that means we need big boy fans. I had to deal with SKOL and SOL fans in the chat.
Yep.
I had to duck out on the chat in the first quarter, but I still listen to y'all. Love you guys. We just need some of these fans to not be soft as baby shit.
That's right.
I tried to call them out, Freddie. I don't know if you heard me during the watch party, but I was trying to clown them and make them feel as stupid as I knew they would at the end of the game. Like, it's 10 points, guys. It's the first quarter, guys. Every time there's some adversity, these old SOL fans tuck their tail between them legs and become scared. It's fascinating to me, really. It's like they have no faith,
exactly.
but they want to say they're fans. It's weird.
Yeah, appreciate you, Stick. Hey, real quick, all I got to say, sit back, relax, and have trust in being a fan of the best football team in the NFL.
Damn
We
right, Freddie.
run the North, one pride, I'm out.
Thank you, Freddie. Yeah, electric call from Freddie. Always
Legend.
fine in the chat,
Legend,
too.
baby.
Kool-Aid, who else we got on the line? 313-552-6322. We are live at Hayes Social for the Woodward Sports post-game show, sponsored by 1800 Tequila.
516.
We got a 516 on the line. Who's this, and where are you calling from?
Go!
Yeah.
Fuck the Vikings, my guy. Yo, it's Devin the dog.
What up, Devin?
Like always, I gotta bring the fucking injury. Oh my God.
Where's
Dude, I
516,
feel
bro?
like Ben Affleck. Oh, it's not. It's just it's after the 313.
Yeah, they're doing the first
from
three numbers of their
England,
phone.
Oh.
All right, so how you feeling, man?
Bro, I feel like Ben Affleck in that meme, smoking a cigarette outside, stressed. I'm not even gonna hold you up.
I smoked a lot of those, dude.
But overall, when you have a fiance right next to you, say, "Oh my God, I think we're gonna lose," I was like, "Baby, hold on, wait. Let your Dan Campbell cook."
That's right.
It's like watching a masterpiece and watching a live stream, a Bleacher Report of Viking fans, a dick suckers just talking shit, saying we're trash, they're taking over us, and then just seeing how many views just dropped.
Yeah.
They never came back.
No, they crawled into their little Viking hole.
It was like the tunnel where they belong, and where they really need to realize they've done this before. And we whooped their ass, and Golden Tate did a front flip on their ass to remind them.
No, that's a great point.
Kings of the North.
And you can't forget the Dan Campbell winning streak and the Dan Campbell progression of the Lions came against the Vikings, that last-second touchdown. Remember, that was the first win for Dan Campbell. So we got a special place in our heart for whooping the Vikings' ass. I do remember that well. We popped some champagne that day. A couple bottles of champagne that day.
Waited a while
but,
for that.
like, beating the Vikings' ass is becoming like Christmas. You look forward to it every year. Well, it's been a lot of fun smacking these purple idiots up and down. It's been a lot of fun. And to credit to their fans, they got no problem coming into enemy lines and talking shit.
Yeah. We've had some on the show, in fact, on the postgame show. They are good fans. We got to give them that.
Until they have no problem talking shit until the inevitable happens, and then they go run and hide. So, yeah, I don't know if we're going to see as
They're
many.
awful quiet.
I don't know if we're going to see as many in our chat, but welcome to the Woodward Sports post-game show live at Hayes Social. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you do all that fun stuff. We're taking phone calls right now from all around the world. We had Taiwan check in earlier. Shout out to Taiwanese Lion. Who do we got?
861.
Yeah, you use your words, Spenny.
861.
Use your words. 861, you're on the post-game show. Who's this?
Hey, fellas.
Hey.
It's Ken from Florida from last week.
What's up, Tim?
Hey, how you feeling down in Florida?
Oh, exuberant is the word.
It's a good word.
It is.
Golf-esque.
Hey, I have a question for you.
Fire away, bro.
What did you think about Houston's performance today? And if Jahmyr Gibbs hasn't been offered an extension, would you be in favor of that?
Gibbs, you extend till the end of time.
Gibbs, you got 4 more years on Gibbs.
Yeah,
You don't
it's a
gotta
little
offer him
early
yet.
for that one.
He's first-round pick. So
But
he's got the
Justin
50 round
Houston,
pick.
for his first activated game,
James.
Didn't get home, but I wish it was Justin Houston. Shit.
Yeah.
But James Houston, honestly, just being out there, and we saw this with Isaiah Buggs. Now, obviously, Isaiah Buggs has some character issues, but we saw them hold back a guy that we thought was going to be a big part of our defense, and then eventually brought him out. And whatever it is, there's something about this team and everybody in the locker room that even if you've been on the shelf for a while, when they tap you on the shoulder and it's time to go, these guys are ready to go. That's what I saw out of him today.
Yeah, we didn't see anybody dominate. So Pascal's probably the closest to having a dominant game on the defensive line that we can talk about. Houston was a placeholder, and I think he did a good
job. Practice squad, though.
Well, yeah, but it's still James Houston. You expect he could be half of what he was those last 5 games of his rookie season, I think we'd all be happy to have James Houston back. Today he filled a spot.
Sure, but
and he didn't stand out as bad.
But he was rushing on the opposite end of an Aiden Hutchinson, So he's out there, and there's no Marcus Davenport.
But even when he was playing this season with Aiden Hutchinson, he really hasn't been what we all hoped he could be.
658, you were on the air. 658. How you feeling after that Lions electric victory?
Hello, can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Who's this, and where are you calling from?
What up, man? This Sean from Detroit, man. 313, man.
What up?
All I want to say is go fucking Lions. Let's go.
Let's fucking go, man. Let's go. That's what I like to hear.
Out of Minnesota. Hey, I ain't missed the whole game. I ain't missed the home game, and I ain't missing no home game.
That's right.
Where were you watching the game today?
We beating ass this year.
Where were you watching today?
So I was watching the game in my boy house. We did a little barbecue party. So we had all type of food, Rotel.
East side or west side?
I put a dog-ass parlay when they was down 10.
There you go.
You feel me? You gotta have faith in my boys, man. We standing on business this year. Ain't none of that whole shit.
And this is a real fan right here. See, you're the exact opposite of the pussies that were in our chat earlier. When the Lions got down by 10, they saw it as the game was over. You saw it as an opportunity where my boys are going to make me money.
Listen, this shit just started. We just getting started.
Oh yeah,
I love that.
We got Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph out there. That's Sean Taylor and Ed Reed back there.
There we go.
That's fucking right, baby. You come from the east side or the west side of Detroit?
West side, man, all day, man.
There you go.
West 7 Mile, man.
There it is.
We appreciate that. A lot of people taking advantage today of the weather, too, out barbecuing, having a good time.
Golf day.
It was so golf outside, I don't even know what to do with myself.
I love that.
But no, hey, social, normally we're super packed in here, but I think the nice day, we were busy, but we weren't packed. Yeah, it was a great day to be outside.
There's projectors up on the back of garages all over Detroit right now.
Of course. Who else we got on the line, Kool-Aid?
Hey, 294.
294 is on the line. Where are you calling from, and what's your name?
734-294. You're on live. What up, though?
All right, let's go to the next one. Kool-Aid, who we got? I can hear him.
Oh, here we go.
Hey, 598.
Oh, here we go. What up, though?
Hey, 598. Who's this, and where are you calling from?
Oh, man, you know what I'm saying? This Papa E, man. I'm from Grand Rapids, but I live in San Francisco, man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm repping them Lions hard out here. Yeah, I live out here. I've been living in Cali for a while now, man. You know what I'm saying?
So what'd you think of the game?
Yeah, big Lions all day. Okay, so first thing what I'm doing is I'm smoking this good Vikings pack right here. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I'm taking 2 puffs every time for sure. And they ass, you feel me? Because that's what we did, you feel me? But I'm ass. When I thought of the game, the fumble hurt us, but our defense is so resilient, and they're idiots for letting us go right down the field. Like, that's what y'all really want to do? I thought we were going to leave y'all some time, you idiots. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to say go Lions, you know what I mean? And I was rocking with y'all. I was watching y'all and watching the game. I always rock with y'all, you know what I'm saying? So we come out here and tell you got a lot of Lions fans.
Those 49er fans starting to sweat the Lions yet after last year's NFC Championship? Because they should be.
You know what? They was trying to talk shit last year when they beat us, but this year they ain't got shit to say. They know. I'm the one talking shit to them.
Attaboy.
Asking them where they at. You know what I'm saying? Oh, absolutely. We're big Lions on. We're big.
Yeah, we must have lost it, but yeah. Man, It'd be so good to live in another city. The only other two cities I've ever lived in are Chicago and New York.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I would have loved when I was living in Chicago if the Lions were good. But the Pistons were good when I lived in Chicago,
Okay.
so it was fun to go to United Center with my Pistons stuff on and talk some trash then. But football's just different, man. It's just different. When your football team – we never knew what Detroit could potentially be as a winning football town.
No, we knew.
No, we did.
Yes, we did.
No,
we
you
just
didn't.
had no.
You had not.
We had no experience with it, but I always said, man,
You had a
call this-
hypothesis of what it could be, but nobody knew.
Yeah, listen, we rioted for baseball. We called ourselves Hockey Town. We were going to work for the Pistons, but none of it compares to when we win a Super Bowl in this fucking city, hands down. And you know I'm basketball first, bro, but this is football. Bring your packed up lunch and a hard hat. Go to blue collar ass work. Let's get it hard, get it tough. And that's why I don't even understand.
Get it hard.
Get it around.
But that's why I don't even understand this Lions
Jerk
team.
it off.
Because if I thought we were going to have
on it.
if I thought we were going to have a Lions championship team, I thought it was just going to be like this out of nowhere kind of like just grind it out team. But we have the new show on turf, greatest show on turf.
so fun.
We now have this defense that they're not just holding guys, they're scoring touchdowns and making plays on turnovers. I mean, this is like an LA team winning a Super Bowl for the Lions right now. And I know I said that.
LA team?
That's how I
What the hell does that mean?
Just it's showtime.
Oh.
We got showtime on both sides of the ball right now. This is the most enjoyable and exciting team in the NFL to watch right now. I can't compare anybody. You take away Rasheed Rice, Isaiah Pacheco, the Chiefs aren't as fun to watch as the
No.
Lions right now.
I'll tell you who's awful to watch, the Jaguars. I can't watch another Jags
The
game.
only team that is on
Yeah,
our
they won
level,
today.
Yeah.
Spenny, would you agree that the Ravens and the Lions are hands down on a separate
But the
tier?
Ravens don't even run like the fun plays we run. I mean, they run a different offense because they have different tools. But, yeah, honestly, the Lions are the most fun to watch, and it's crazy to think that around the nation people are talking about the Lions as the best football team in the NFL. And today, the debate about best in the NFC North, can we put it to bed?
Yep.
I mean, are we done with that
Week
for a while?
6, eh? You're doing it in week 6.
Oh,
huh?
I was told week 5 it was the fucking Vikings. So why can't I do it week 6 after we stepped on their fucking throats?
I thought it was week 3, but whatever.
Yeah. Week 3 you were telling me how good the Vikings were.
I mean, they were pretty good today.
No, they were
They
good.
just weren't as good as the Detroit Lions.
Honestly, I go back and watch the game. They're not as good as everybody's giving them credit for, A, for the season, and B, in this game. They need a lot of luck to even hang with this team, and we were down our best defensive player for the first time ever.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to hear that they play good this game. They were lucky to be in this game, period. This game easily could have been a 3-touchdown blowout.
Yeah,
easily.
We spot him 10 points like you led the broadcast off with. But honestly, that Monty fumble was just so out of character, not only for the player, but for the moment for the Lions.
Yeah, think of it. You don't spot them the 10 points, and you don't go for that the fourth down. So let's say they get a field goal on their first possession instead of a touchdown. We could take away 4 points. You take away 7 points from that fumble return, so you can take away 11 points that they essentially didn't earn, right? It happened, but they didn't earn it. Plus, you got the -7 that they took away from the Lions, too. So there's 18 points. This was a 16-point loss by all accounts, in my head.
Yeah. Even spotting him that 10 points.
Ooh, Jaden Daniels broke his ribs.
Stop
Ouch.
it.
Ouch.
Stop it, Anakin.
He'll be back.
Yeah, he'll be back. But yeah, anyways. Sorry, Anson. That just ruined Anson's post-game show. But
you know how deeply invested in Jaden I am in everything from cards to fantasy.
Yeah, but either way, go back and watch the game. The Lions had full control of this game for 90% of it after that
First 6-7 minutes. After that, it was all under our control.
And they were and the Minnesota Vikings were very lucky to be in this game, and I will stand on that, and I will argue with it. And even if they weren't lucky to be in this game, and you want to tell me how good they are, they still took the L like a bunch of bitches in their house. Go to your trap, take over your trap. Go to your trap, take over your trap. Go to your trap, take over your trap. And that's exactly what we did today. I don't think they have trap houses in Minnesota, do they?
I'm sure they do.
Oh, it's probably Fent.
Yeah, no, they got like
They got Fent houses in Minnesota.
Yeah, they got meth trailers.
Meth trailers. Yeah.
Talk about
there's
a new
no trap
generation.
houses. Yeah.
I never heard of a Fent house.
Fent house.
Yeah, they're Fent house. They don't
heard
have
about
trap
crack
houses.
before.
No, they got Fent houses and,
Fent houses.
and yeah, definitely some meth houses out there. What I loved about this win, like you said, this team, Minnesota, they had big wins on the season. They had a big win over Houston. They had a
Without
big win
Mixon
over San Francisco. It's
San Francisco's trash. No.
you played good teams and you won. The Lions, the best team they played was probably the Bucs, and they lost that game. So you get another good team on the road in their place, and you walk in there and you punch them in the mouth. And like you guys said, this game was closer than it should have been because of the uncharacteristic David Montgomery fumble. You have the Tennessee Titans next week.
Oh,
We do?
Yeah. You know the Titans are shitting their pants.
And we're
Right?
at
Who do the
too, right?
Vikings have next week?
I don't know.
Because we got to see if that Burn brings it up. It doesn't matter. The
think they might
Vikings
be on
have
a
that
bye
Detroit
next week.
Lions hangover next week.
I think they might be on a bye next week.
No, they were on a bye last week. The Vikings got the Rams this week.
not-
That's another thing. This was a
It's quick
Vikings
as penny.
team coming off of a bye. A 5-0 Vikings team with 2 weeks to prepare
Yeah.
for the Detroit Lions.
Without Aiden Hutchinson.
Without Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah. At home. Oh, yeah. Tell me how good they are, guys.
They're a good team.
They had 2 weeks to prepare for this. 2 weeks.
So who owes you $350 soon?
Mason Leach, you punk bitch. I haven't seen you in the chat at all.
Where you at, Mason?
bro?
Where you at? I saw you early on in the first quarter.
I
But
mean,
then
you still
poof.
got another chance. You
Poof.
still got another game, but
It doesn't matter. They
but
ain't
he
coming
owes-
to this
He
house.
owes Neil Rule money too.
They ain't coming
He
to
bet
this
him,
house.
too.
Well, you can tell he ain't going to pay. He's
think
one of
I
those
owe
guys.
you $20
He's a
if they
Pat
don't.
McAfee Welcher. That's what he is.
I'll tell you what. I love how right you were today.
Thanks,
love
man.
it.
I do
fucking
too.
love it.
I do too. It feels good. I can't wait to be
Feels
on the
golf.
Oh God, it feels better than good. It feels golf.
Feels golf.
Yep,
does.
better than good. It's golf.
Yeah. It's just great stuff.
Yeah, I'm stealing that, bro.
Better than
that
good, it's
all
golf.
week.
Man, I'm feeling good right now.
Feeling golf.
I can't wait to watch this game again.
How many times?
I usually watch a game 3 times in a week because
You
what
might
I'll
watch
do
this
is I'll,
5.
yeah, it wins. I watch a lot more. Losses, I still haven't rewatched the NFC Championship game from
Oh,
last
you
week.
haven't?
No, I won't. I don't think I'll ever.
Need a lot
Like
of
the
bloods
other
for
day,
that
I was
one.
scrolling through cable and NFL Network was replaying, and it said Detroit Lions, and I was like, oh my God, I get to.
Oh, not that
for
game.
San Francisco
No
40. I'm like,
thanks.
oh fuck, I ain't watching
I'm
this
good
shit.
on that one.
I saw someone in the chat talking about leadership on this defense and how important of a role that's played, especially with guys like Terrell Williams and the guy like Kelvin Shepard in the coaching staff of the defensive line and linebacking groups. When I look for the leadership on this team that I haven't seen on a Dan Campbell team or a Matt Patricia team is you have good veterans in every level of this defensive group. You got DJ Reader now on the defensive line, a guy that's played a lot of ball, a guy that knows what to do in this league. You got Alex Anzalone in the linebacking core, a guy that's played a lot of ball. He knows what to do in this league. You got Carlton Davis in the back end. He's played a lot of ball. He's won a Super Bowl. He knows how to handle himself. You have good contributing impact veterans on all 3 phases of the defense, and I think that provides so much for these young guys, for the Ali McNeils, for the Jack Campbells, for the Brian Branches and the Terrion Arnolds, to have these guys next to them that have done it in the NFL at a high level for a long time. It's really helping these young pieces let them speak for themselves with their athleticism and their ability because they know they've got the old head behind them if they fuck something up. It's huge.
Well, and we talked about the continuity of the coaches. You know, the longest tenured coach, head coach, DC, OC in the NFL. There's a lot, and we talk about Ben Johnson. This isn't Ben Johnson offense 101 where he's installing it first year. This is Ben Johnson 401 graduate level shit. That's why we're seeing a bunch of fun stuff when they're up and doing big things. We talked about who the Vikings are going to play next week. They play on Thursday. They got to recover from playing the Detroit Lions in 3 days, and then they got to go play the Rams. The Rams aren't, but
I thought
still.
the Rams they were playing this week.
No. They played us this week.
No, it's Thursday. Is that who they're playing?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know who they get back?
Who?
Cooper Kupp and maybe even Puka Nacua as well.
Just the whole theme about playing the Lions even a week after you play them, your body's hurting. It's a big physical game. It's tough. To turn around in 3 days and try to do it, the Vikings, I would not be surprised if the Vikings lost by 20.
I've seen a few things on Twitter about how hard it is to recover from playing the Lions because they are just constantly putting licks on you.
Yeah.
Whether it's the wide receivers downfield blocking, no matter what it is, to recover from playing against the Lions is tough, man.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
I need to gush a little bit more on one of these guys that we haven't mentioned by name yet. Carlton Davis and what he has brought to this secondary.
Yeah,
this is a guy, a big physical cornerback one who the past 2 weeks we've seen him stick to 2 of the top 5 receivers in the NFL. When has Darius Slay, is Dre Bly, what cornerback did the Lions have in the past 10 years that you could say, hey, your assignment is CeeDee Lamb, your assignment is Justin Jefferson, go follow them. He really only got fucked up by DK Metcalf, and even that was back and forth. They were giving it to – he did a great job on both CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson in this game. He has been a essential part of this team so far.
Yeah, and add on to that, shout out DK. I hope he's okay. Got carted off with a knee injury today, but
oh damn.
Yeah, but what we've seen is a swagger that last year was fraudulent. It was C.D. Deuce that came in and provided for a game and a half. And then it was Cam Sutton who tried to provide that for us. And listen, I don't want to call him a bum, but his play did not equal his leadership on the field. And what we've seen out of Carlton Davis is a leadership, a swagger that's matched by his play on the field. Oh, that cleat didn't mean shit. He was out there running the show in the defensive backfield again. And I know Brian Branch is the playmaker in the future and like the Pro Bowler and the All-Pro of this team. But what Carlton has meant, you hit it on the head. This guy came in and filled a role, not just ability and player-wise, but a leader.
He's the straw that stirs the drink in their defensive backfield, man. It's crazy.
He's as close to a shutdown corner as the Lions have. He's not Revis Island to this point, but he is by far our best cornerback. Yes. And we were talking about this before even the watch party, Spenny, is when he was in Tampa, if you looked at his splits between being in a zone defense and being in a man defense, he got burned a lot in zone. And that's Todd Bowles' defense, and down there he was just a square peg in a round hole, and the fans didn't like him because but when you looked at his man-to-man splits, he was dominant.
Yeah.
And so he comes here in a defense where, guess what, you're going to be playing a lot of man-to-man. And I think he's embraced it, and he's another one of those guys, a redemption story. You thought I wasn't good here? Poof, I'm over here, and now I'm one of the best corners. The talent level that these guys seek out, and once again, you're not a knucklehead. You're not hearing about that. Even when he was getting razzed and all that shit down in Tampa Bay, did he stop playing? Did he become a bad teammate? Did he go through all? That's what these guys look for, and Carlton Davis fits into this secondary, and he's exactly what you want with 2 rookie cornerbacks. He's the guy you want to show them all the veteran tricks, all what to do. And it just, this mix, this cornerback room, we went from being probably one of arguably the worst in NFL history.
Worst cornerback room in the NFL by far.
I'm not saying NFL. I'm saying NFL history.
It was,
when you let up almost 200 yards receiving to individuals almost 5 weeks in a row, like there was just no redemption to this. And here, in back-to-back weeks, you've been able to slay that dragon. You slayed CeeDee Lamb. He didn't do shit. You didn't slay Justin Jefferson, but you did a good job on Justin.
Yards.
But a touchdown, 80 yards and a touch is a nice day. I'm not going to say he had a bad day, but
could have been a lot worse.
They needed a lot more from Justin Jefferson than 80 yards and a touchdown to beat this depleted defense.
Well,
crazy.
They needed a lot more than Darnold trying to give him the ball.
Yeah, and I look at, like you said, with Carlton Davis, he is a guy that a top 5, top 10-ish receiver in this league said is the hardest cornerback to go up against. Jamar Chase name-dropped it when Jamar Chase was asked, who is the hardest cornerback you've had to go up against in your career? He said Carlton Davis. This guy likes stick set, dude. He was a man cornerback playing in a zone defense.
Man.
Now you bring him in here. He's long. He's physical. He can tackle. He's aggressive at the point of contact. That fits Aaron Glenn like OJ in a glove. Like, it is just perfect what he brought to this team.
Spenny, let me ask you. If that guy was on a proper defense, playing to his strengths, could he have been acquired for what we had to give up?
No.
Not at all, right?
No.
Not at all.
Steal.
And that's what you have to – we talk about how well they draft. We talk about how well they develop players. But what I've seen them is look and identify existing talents in the league that are being misused and then bring them here, repurpose them.
On the cheap.
In their strengths.
Yeah. Hey, that's what good coaches do.
No doubt.
You know?
And good general managers in tandem.
God, it's so nice to have a great franchise here in Detroit. Imagine being a poverty franchise like the Vikings, sitting there, never done anything in your entire lives and still talking shit.
Yep.
Imagine
Let's
waking.
get a fucking ring first.
Imagine
okay?
waking.
Let's
Dude,
get
they
a
don't
ring.
have a
The
ring.
Vikings
They don't
have a
have a
ring.
ring
Let's
either.
get on. No,
Okay.
I'm not talking about the Vikings. But before we start,
They brought this out of me, Anson. I was
right.
cool with Vikings till they wanted to run their mouth.
Yeah.
But if you're going to run your mouth, you better have a fucking thing to stand on, and they have nothing to stand
I heard
on.
they were on multiple sites.
They have
running their mouths,
nothing
huh?
to stand on. Nothing to stand on. Besides their Minnesota accent, because we suck balls.
Hey,
Minnesota, we suck balls, and we go, Minnesota, suck balls. Minnesota. Best thing that's ever. They're Fargo.
Like the Latino.
Fargo is great.
Fargo's great.
Yeah.
That's the best thing to come out
Now,
of
have you
Minnesota.
ever watched the show? The show is great.
Oh, yeah.
You know what, though? None of the
Bilbo
movies
Baggins?
or the shows are actual true stories.
I mean, that makes sense.
I always thought
Called
they
TV.
were. I was super hurt
Hate to
when I
break it
found out
to
they
you.
were lies.
A lot of TVs now.
No, but it says, no, but wait a second. It says
called
this is
fiction.
based on a true story. The names were changed, and then they're like, no, we just did that to hook people.
Oh, here we go. Steve-O, baby. Wow, Stick. One loss, and we're a trash team. No, I called you a trash team before this. I think these guys will
This is true.
vouch.
He
Well, he's
did.
a Viking.
He did.
You were a no loss, and you were still a trash team. You guys are just starting to see
Let's
how
hear
much
from
trash.
the Vikings, all right? Let's hear from the Vikings fans. I want to hear from you guys.
Listen,
'cause
I'll
you guys
give it
have
up
been
to him.
noticeably absent.
At least he's talking. I appreciate him.
I give him love.
So, yeah.
We're just all quiet. Like,
Yeah,
where you
no,
at?
yeah, waiting to see the Minnesota fans. But
Fuck
no.
Minnesota. Dude.
Yeah, that's
Let's
the
talk
thing.
about next week.
Everybody's acting like, oh, now I've made up my mind that Minnesota's fraudulent. No, I've been hollering it. Now I have the evidence to back up what I've been trying to tell you.
He has money on the fucking line. All
Well,
right? He
that
put
too.
his money where his mouth was. He's been saying this from the get. He's been battling people at the network. He's been battling people online. And he put $300+ on his words. So if you think that he's not out there, he's been out there about the Vikings.
That's
he
the
does
thing.
not have love for y'all.
Just because you tuned into the postgame show this time, you're like, oh, this clown's never. No. I've been saying this, Minnesota fans. Yeah. If you listen, I've been saying you're trash. You're just now getting woke and finding out that your team sucks. No. It's not good. I may even go as far as say they may not even make the playoffs again.
Oh, that's aggressive.
Dude, they did it 5-0 and they didn't before. They know what it's like. It's part of their culture. They're losers.
That's aggressive.
It is aggressive, but they're losers.
But they're not a bad team, man.
Supercell sucks because they were in here all week running game, running mouth.
It's
and
true.
Now they're not in the chat, as you said.
Stick.
they're
It's
licking
not
the
a
wounds.
one and done from Minnesota Lions. We had the same record. Don't forget. Yeah, you had the same record, but who handed you your L?
And who has the tiebreaker?
Yeah. What are we doing? Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? Like, the copium is coming hot from Minnesota. It's coming in hot.
Hopium is my favorite word of yours.
Oh, hopium.
You smoke it, right?
I don't know.
I don't think you sniff it.
I would assume it's in Minnesota,
you
so
can
they
take
take
it how
it
you get it.
rectally.
You can boof it for sure.
Yeah, they boof it.
They do boof a lot in Minnesota.
Speaking of boofs, people were trying to grab Jahmyr Gibbs when he's running through them, but they're only getting a handful of ass. He
A
was
handful
running
of
through
air,
everybody.
bro. A handful of air.
How about Jahmyr Gibbs so far?
That's a great thing you bring up, Spenny, because so many people last year were like, well, you got to give the ball to Gibbs, and then we kind of forgot about Monty in the second half, but it's been all Monty through the first 5 games of this year. And then you see him kind of go down. You called him. You and Easy were calling for the closer. But listen, the closer today was Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yep.
He was doing the hard running between the tackles, but he was making big plays for touchdowns as well, shaking guys out of their fucking purple pants.
His acceleration, his ability to go 0 to 100 is insane.
Yeah.
Like you saw it on that one drop off from Jared Goff to him in the fourth quarter, and he just goes with like a rocket ship, man.
He really kind of makes a decision.
He's so fast. He makes fast guys look slow.
Yeah.
He makes fast dudes look not fast.
He's out there kind of running at 85% most of the time.
Yeah.
And you watch him with patience make decisions. Okay, now I'm going to give it all.
All right, boys, time to start wrapping up the show. Anson, I know you like to get in our predictions for next week, what we're thinking. It's the Tennessee Titans. Do I really have to address them?
Lions hit 40 again, 3 out of 4 weeks. This is a defense that is going
it home?
It's going to miss their defensive coordinator, that's for sure, and they're going to be seeing him across the sideline.
I think it's in Tennessee.
I think it's at home, right? We had 2 away. Now we're at home, and then we go to Green Bay and then to Texans.
Yeah, it's at Detroit.
Yeah.
So we're going to smoke them. They will be lucky if they get 17. I would imagine I'm going to call 42-16. Sleep on it.
Okay.
I'm going to say the Detroit Lions win at home 37-7 against the Tennessee Titans. I think it is just an absolute schwacking. Who are they? They were starting Mason Rudolph today.
Yeah, they did.
If they start Mason Rudolph or Will Levis or who, I don't care who it is. The Detroit Lions defense is going to be juiced up. They're not going to move the ball at all. They can't run against bad teams. They're not going to run against us. Lions are going to put belt to ass on the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah. I don't know what else to say. It's Tennessee Titans.
Give me a number.
I don't know.
Do they hit 40?
How about this? Hendon Hooker will play.
Hendon Hooker will play the whole fourth quarter.
Is that enough?
our new Darko?
Yeah, he's our
Darko?
human victory cigar.
I love it.
Hendon Hooker will play the entire fourth quarter.
Ooh, I like that. That's the new, like, I'm not going to give you
That's
points.
the
I'm going to give you the
benchmark, huh?
Hooker effect.
That's the bar.
Yep, it's the Hooker effect.
The Hooker bar.
Someone in the chat said Max Crosby just punched a teammate. I don't know if that's true, but I hope it is.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you who we could give you for Max Crosby.
Hendon Hooker.
Because hookers go great in Vegas.
Yeah, they do. Thank you guys for being a part of the postgame show. Don't forget, tomorrow, wake up. Woodward in Maine, Matthew Broder and Terry Foster will entertain you from about 7 a.m. to about 7:50, and that's when the boys from Wake Up Woodward take over. Mr. Kool-Aid is going to be there with Flannel Sam. Flannel Sam is probably going to talk some ish about J-Mo, because J-Mo didn't really have a big game. But outside of that, I don't know what Flannel Sam's going to bring to the table. He's a wild card.
He ain't bringing no fucking Wolverines to the table. I know that.
Well, you guys could talk about that tomorrow as well, you high school or college football fans. And then don't forget, me and Neil Rule get to tell off Vikings fans from 11 to 1.
It's going to be electric.
United.
I can't wait.
United.
I don't even have to do prep tonight.
I'm going to let Neil cook. Yeah, your prep every should be roast
the
Vikings,
Vikings.
roast Vikings, roast Vikings,
He's gonna
roast
be on
Vikings.
fire tomorrow.
Oh, because I mean,
He
Neil,
hates the Vikings so much.
and Neil put his balls on the line this morning too in the pregame show.
Yeah.
He did.
He does.
And that's the thing, like. We'll sit up here and have these opinions, and when we're wrong, you guys have no problem letting me know I'm wrong. I don't get it often. That's weird. But when I'm right, y'all seem to have an issue when I rub it in your face.
True.
Sorry. I'm sorry I'm right. I'm sorry you don't agree with me at first, but then time reveals. Like Kool-Aid's going through this process right now with Jaden Ivey. They're learning. It's an evolution. I was just waiting for Kool-Aid.
I don't know. Jaden been shooting.
Imagine.
He been hitting shots.
Oh,
Jaden
David
Ivey
Witt,
looked
the
great.
Major League Conspiracy Theory.
58% from the field, dog.
Major League Conspiracy Theory, David Witt. I'll dive into it tomorrow, actually, from 11 to 1 with Neil, because we'll have more time then.
Okay.
Yeah, but it has to do with the beginning of the movie and the ending of the movie. I watched it like 3 weeks ago for the first time in a long time. And I'm
Major
like,
League?
Yeah, I'm like, oh my God,
Who
yeah.
the fuck are these guys?
I have a Rick Vaughn autographed jersey in my basement now.
Hell yeah.
Signed by Charlie Sheen.
No fucking way.
It's the
That's
best.
awesome.
It's the best thing I own besides my Jared Goff jersey. That's signed it in the basement.
And, just 6 years ago, he's like, oh, man, there's nothing better than my Tyson glove. But now Jared Goff.
Yeah, I love my Tyson glove. I love
Tyson glove is
I got
sick,
Tyson
too.
shorts, and I got
Yeah.
the Tyson punch-out thing. Not as cool as Easy does with the fake Nintendo around
Yeah.
it, but yeah. Thank you guys for being a part of the post-game show here on Woodward Sports. 1800 Tequila brings it to you every week, and the 1800 girls are going to be here next week at Hayes Social. So if you're sitting around, you're lonely, you want some tequila that's paid for by the house, you may be able to come in and hang out with some ladies as well. And the rest of the Woodward sports guys, Soroki's will get you some food.
Get out and touch grass, nerds. It's going to be a great weekend.
Real Woodward, show up. Come on out
What, are you
and
allergic
hang
to
out
air?
with us
Yeah.
this next weekend.
We're going to be fucked up. The Lions are going to be dog walking the Titans. It's going to be a great time.
How many times are we going to play forward down the field?
Oh,
in
it's going to be at least 8.
Forward down the field.
Sounds about right.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being a part of the post-game show. We hope you had a good time. This is definitely the highlight of my week. I look forward to doing it, especially now that the Lions are winners.
Yeah.
When they were losing every game, these were odd post-game shows
They were
to
fun
do.
but tough.
They
though.
were fun, but we were very drunk, and it's a little different ball game now. So the Lions are winning. It's a good time. Vikings fans, always remember this, and I'm saying this from the bottom of my heart. Your franchise has never done shit.
Bums.
Have a great week.